Hi guys, today we're going to review fractions. So we have to start out with this first little reminder. To find the reciprocal of a fraction, flip it over. So let's practice that. If I have the fraction of 2/3, the reciprocal will then be 3/2. Notice I did not use an equal sign because these two numbers are not equal. We don't even have a fraction here. The most common mistake would be to say, well, the reciprocal is 4/3. Well, that's not the case. First, you need a fraction, and it will be equivalent to the mixed number, so we'll write the equal sign. Multiply the 4 times the whole number. 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 plus 3 is 11. The denominator stays the same. Now that we have a fraction, we can find the reciprocal by flipping it over. So the reciprocal will be 4/11. For the third example, again, we do not have a fraction, so we're going to write an equivalent fraction for the whole number 9. 9/1 is the equivalent to 9. Now we're going to write the reciprocal of 9/1. Just reverse the numerator and the denominator, so then you've got 1/9. We have to use reciprocals when dividing fractions, so let's look at what's next. This is a list of all of the steps you really need to follow. We talked about that earlier in the year, but we simplified it to 3 letters or 3 words. We simplified it to KCF, which represents the keep first fraction, change the division to multiplication, and flip the second fraction, which is the reciprocal. And last, it's a multiplication problem, so you multiply. Always, always, always simplify your answers. Improper fractions are okay. So those 3 letters are simplified to keep, change, flip, which is explained here. The other 3 words that we could use is, and I call them the fancy words, multiply by the reciprocal. These all mean the same thing. You've got to find which one you remember and go with it. So let's put it into action. 3/4, we're going to keep the first fraction, change the division to multiplication, and then we're going to find the reciprocal of 1/5, which is 5/1. Okay? I need you to remember how to cancel when we multiply fractions because that helps us when we're trying to simplify. It makes the numbers much smaller, and most times you do not have to simplify if you cancel correctly. So can anything go into 4 and 5 besides 1? Nope. Can anything go into 3 and 1 besides 1? Nope. So now to multiply, we'll just go numerator times numerator, denominator times the denominator. Since no number can go into 15 and 4 besides 1, this is technically simplified. So we're going to stop right here. In elementary school, they prefer that you write this as a mixed number. That is fine if you want to do that, but again, with middle school, in 6th grade, you can leave it improper. Let's try another. So we've got to remember our 3 terms. Multiply by the reciprocal, or keep, change, and flip. You always, always, always rewrite it. So keep, change to multiplication, and find the reciprocal by flipping it over. Now, this is a perfect example of how we can use our canceling to make the numbers much smaller. You could multiply 9 times 13, write it down. You could multiply the denominators, 26 times 3, and write it down. Problem is, those are really big numbers. Simplifying is not so fun, and a lot of times people don't simplify far enough. So all you have to do is look diagonally across. What goes into 3 and 9? Well, 1, obviously, but the larger number is 3. 3 goes into 3 one time. 9 divided by 3 is 3. What can go into 13 and 26 besides 1? 13. So 13 divided by 13 is 1. 26 divided by 13 is 2. Now look at what you have to multiply. The numerators are so much smaller. 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2. Nothing goes into 2 and 3 besides 1, so it is simplified. Box your answer, and you are correct. Now the next one, the numbers are larger, so people think it's harder right away. But let's take a look. We're still using our process of keep, change, flip, or multiply by the reciprocal. So you have 15 over 4 times 22 over 27. At first look, people think, oh, there's nothing that goes into 15 and 27 but 1. That's not true. 3 can go into 15 5 times. 3 goes into 27 9 times. Don't just automatically think if the smaller number does not go into the larger, you can't cancel, because that is not true. The same thing happens here. 4 does not go into 22, but there is a number that goes into 22 and 4, which is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 22 divided by 2 is 11. All we have to do now is multiply our numerators. 5 times 11 is 55. And 2 times 9 is 18. Nothing goes into 18 and 55. You could try 2, but this one's not even. So using those divisibility rules is a lovely shortcut. 3 goes into 18, but 3 can't go into 55 because the divisibility rule for 3 is add the 2 digits. And if that is divisible by 3, it works, but 5 and 5 is 10. 3 doesn't go into 10. 18 doesn't go into 55, and neither does 9. So it is simplified. All right, one more type. Now we're going to have the mixed numbers and whole numbers. We don't have a fraction. Remember, when you see division with fractions, keep, change, flip, or multiply by the reciprocal. We need to make this one a fraction first. So 5 over 1, change to multiplication, and reciprocal or flip it over. Now this is so nice. No canceling whenever there's a 1 in one of your fractions, so 5 times 4 is 20. 1 times 1 is 1. Now this is not in simplest form. If your answer will equal a whole number, you must make it a whole number. So 20 over 1 is a whole 20. All right, last one. What we have to do first is we don't even have fractions. We have mixed numbers. Let's make them fractions. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Keep your denominator. I don't want you doing keep, change, flip yet because there's too much going on. Do one step at a time. Make everything a fraction first. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 plus 3 is 15. And then 15 over 4. Now we use our lovely little trick of keep, change, flip. So 9 over 2 times 4 over 15. What goes into 15 and 9? Well, 9 doesn't go into 15, but 3 will go into both. And that will be 5. What can go into 2 and 4? 2. 2 divided by 2, 4 divided by 2. Multiply the numerators. 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 5 is 5 for the denominators. Nothing goes into 6 and 5 other than 1, so it is in simplest form. You can stop. So, to review for this one, remember, if you have mixed numbers, make them improper first. Well, that's all I have for today for our review. Remember, multiply by the reciprocal when you see division of fractions or mixed numbers. Have a good day.